So Julius linked me to this article that suggested that in the state of New Hampshire, libertarians, if they had their way, would privatize all education. And we all knew this. They want to privatize everything. And how terrible that is, I don't need to go into. What I want to go into is how education in and of itself is terrible to any communist or anarchist or socialist. It is the epitome of class struggle. From the time we are little, we are forced into a situation where we have to accept strict class hierarchy. The entire grading system is nothing more than a hierarchy of those that obey the words and the commands of their superiors and those that don't. School has nothing to do with educating people. It has nothing to do with teaching children how to be more equipped to handle daily life and to handle a trade or a skill of some sort. All it does is indoctrinate them with enslavement. It teaches them to be complacent little docile slaves that do as they're told. They go to the teacher, they go to the principal, they hang on their every word, they refuse to stand up for themselves, they refuse to have any inward dignity because, their superiors might look down on them, and might expel them. Ooh, I might get expelled and not have to go to this shit prison hole where, it's always cliques and people looking down on each other because one kid is poorer than the other, or another kid is uglier than another, or some bullshit. And they teach that. That's what they want children to act like. As much as these people talk about how bullying is so terrible, we have to do something about bullying in schools, they want bullying. If you did not want bullying, you would not preach schools at all. Because the very essence of public or private school is bullying. You have to bully in order to initiate that idea that there is people up here to command people at the bottom. The teachers and the principals themselves are the bullies. The cliques within schools are the bullies. It has nothing to do with taking your lunch money or punching you in the face. That's merely an aspect of it. The very essence of school in itself is bullying. What are you going to do about that? So, the issue here isn't whether or not school should be privatized or public. The point is that school in itself is wrong, and we have to transition ourselves away from it. Recently, my girlfriend's little brother was doing this book report, and he had a list of books he could choose from. And out of all the books on the list, I recommended for him to read Animal Farm and 1984, to get at least a glimpse of the world we live in today and the world we will most likely live in tomorrow. And that's the kind of indoctrination schools should be teaching. I'm not saying that propaganda cannot be good, it cannot be positive. It just so happens that we have regressive propaganda. We have counter-revolutionary propaganda. We have propaganda that makes people obedient as opposed to being revolutionaries. So the point would be to introduce them to the Communist Manifesto, to Das Kapital, to anything written by any communist intellectual throughout the years, or even socialists or anarchists or whatever. Maybe even reactionaries. I even said that perhaps he should read Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. It was not on the list, but I'm sure the school would not argue considering the fact that it is an intelligible book in some regards. I say in some regards because Ayn Rand was a terrible writer, but it helps you delve into the mindset of those type of people, into the right wing, and just how vile they are. And while indeed the book is very thick, and no child is going to want to read that, maybe it would help them see what good and evil really looks like in the real world. It's not that different from your Saturday morning cartoon shows. I mean, yeah, the technology's not as fantastic or as abundant, but the fact is these people are evil for the sake of being evil. And even a book like Atlas Shrugged, which is a mouthpiece for Ayn Rand, proves that, because that's what she actually believes. She was proud of the fact that she loved evil. She loved sociopaths. She loved this idea that the most psychotic, most wretched of people deserve to be at the top. And that's not what school is teaching us. School has never taught us in any age, whether it be now or it be 60 years ago, of how to educate people, how to interact with others, how to have a skill and be equipped to be, individually independent. It never taught us independence or skill or power. It never empowered us. All it does is teach us obedience. And I can't stress that enough. I despise the entire idea of school, whether it be public school or private school or tutoring or preschool or kindergarten, grade school, college, any school at all it is indoctrination and submission. And all this would do is give us one step closer to perpetual enslavement. To say that privatizing all the schools would be so bad is giving too much emphasis on the fact that things are not already bad enough. Things are bad. Things are always bad, and they're going to get worse. Does this mean that I agree with privatizing education? Hell no. But I'm not going to exaggerate how bad it would be, because it is already pretty fucking bad. It would just make it all that much worse. Do we want to make it worse? No. We want to make it better. How do we make it better? We make it better by equipping children with actual skills they need where they do not need a master. We equip children with the confidence and self-righteousness that they need to where they can stand up to their teachers and their principals. That way these teachers stop fucking raping their children, when these women teachers have sex with 14-year-old boys and shit. That's what we need to stand up against. We need to influence them and expose them to ideas that will help them develop as human beings. And we do not necessarily need school to do that, but since we have it, and it's a good avenue for it, why not use it? But that's the thing, people are not pragmatic about this. They just think that school is there to force you to learn a bunch of shit that you're never going to use in your life, and you just accept that. And that's what it is. It's a test. It's a test to see how much you will accept obedience, enslavement, and force. If you're willing to deal with that violence in childhood, you will undoubtedly deal with it as an adult when it's so much harder to overcome it. And the fact is, you were indoctrinated from the time you were little to accept being raped and being violated at every corner by your peers, by your superiors, and everyone in between. That's what it comes down to. School is there to indoctrinate people into the class system. And that is why I am opposed to education. Not necessarily because it's privatized or because it's public schools or anything of that sort. So, thank you for the article. In the future, I might do videos similar to this. Leave a comment in the comment section. See you later.